Hello my dear viewer, Sabar Hussain with a new lecture. Today we're gonna look at psychological contract. What is the psychological contract? First of all, we're gonna look at the definition of the psychological contract. Then we're gonna move on to the psychological contract and HR practices. Trust in the psychological contract. And lastly, we're going to look at the unbalanced and balanced psychological contract. Let us take a look on the definition. This was the first time the Argyros and Sheen, they stated that psychological contract is a perception of mutual obligations held by both parties in the employment relation, the organization and the employees. The psychological contract is this one is mutual obligations between the employee and the employers. And this is unwritten mutual obligations. When the employees join the organizations, they sign the legal employment contract. In addition to the legal employment contract, there is a psychological contract, unwritten contract. What is that? Implies unwritten employment contract. What are the employees' expectations? Training and development, career progressions, promotions, fulfill promise and actual pay, equal pay with equal work, challenging job, constructive feedback, treat people as an assets, respect employees, job security and health and safety. All these are the unwritten expectations of the employee towards the employers. Employee wants that he should be provided equal opportunities, he should be provided promotions. Whenever he submit his report, he or she should receive the constructive feedback. This is not a part of the employment contract, but the employee wants from the employer to provide the equal pay for equal work payments. This is when you are going to talk about the challenging jobs, you have to provide the challenging job where he and she could demonstrate multi-skillings and also provide the job security, very important, and treat the people as an assets. These are the employees who make the difference. When we talk about the organizational citizenships, organizational citizenship means organization is a small city and citizenship implies are its employees. It is the responsibility of the organizations to take care of its citizens, and it is a responsibility of the employees to clean their city, to do something good for the city to prosper, and the people who live in the organization should also be happy and healthy. So when we talk about the organizational citizenship, look at this one. This is the organization and the employee. All these are unwritten employment contracts. Let us take a look on the employer unwritten expectations. What are these? Are the employer's unwritten expectations? These are the employee engagement, commitment, discretionary efforts, like I stated here, that is the organizational citizenship, accepting the challenging and stretches objectives, flexibility, adaptability, loyalty, and also the organizational values, commitment to the high qualities, working as an ambassador for the organizations. This is the organization is expecting from the employees. Since the employee is expecting that he or she should be provided equal opportunities for career development, career progressions, promotions, provided the opportunities for challenging job. On the other hand, the employer is expecting that the employee should be flexible, adaptable, should work as an ambassador of the organizations, accept the challenging jobs, accept the stretching objectives. This is, the employer is expecting. My dear knowledge worker, all this is not written in the employment contract. Psychological contract is very important between the employee and the employer, between the employee and the manager. Psychological contract, all it is in the mind of the employee and the employers. Look at this one, this gentleman, what he is expecting from his parents. His mom should prepare himself for school and do her best, and the father should do his best to guide, to give directions to his children, and children should also respect their parents, come up to the expectations, get high marks to become good member of the family, good member of the society, good member of the country, and good member of the world, to contribute in the world, to make the world beautiful. All this is psychological contract. This is in the mind, very important psychological contract. Let us take a look. That is the psychological contract. Employee gives commitment, engagement, citizenship, exerting the discretionary efforts, going the extra mile, and the organization receive all these from the employees. And what the organization is giving to the employees? My dear knowledge workers, the organization is giving job security, accept the challenging jobs. Organization is saying, okay, these are the objectives, you have to achieve it. You need to do the way you want. Look at the Googles, look at the Facebooks, Googles. 80% of the developments made when the Googles give 20% of the times the employees should spend the way they want it. And lot of inventions came with the 20% time that the employees were given the discretionary, the discretion that you can use within this 20% of the organization type you want it. And today you can look at the IBM, Google, Facebook, the organizations are prospering. That is, employment contract, legal contract for the organization is not enough. Psychological contract is very important. Let us take a look. The role of the human resource department. What is the role of the human resource department? HR practices shape the day-to-day behavior of the employees, means through which the work and the organization contract with each others. HR practices send the message to the individuals regarding what the organization expects of them and what they expect in return. In my second lecture of the performance management, I stated there are intended practices, actual practices. Perceive, how the employee perceive the HR practices, how the HR practices change the attitude of the employees and the behaviors, and in turn the employee will be happy and the organization will prosper. These are the HR practices. It is the responsibility of the HR practitioners to ensure that they work with the line managers, they work with the operations, they work with as a team players, as business partners, and ensure that they come up to the expectations, not only the leadership team as well as the employees who are making difference for the organizations, who are contributing, who are running the operations. Very important. Organization in the HR department develop the reward policies. The people who are going the extra miles, who are having the high potentials, who are even underperformers. HR department should work with the line managers to ensure that the underperformance should perform better. Develop the training and development programs. Identify the reasons, maybe the personal reasons, maybe the reason for the managers and the employee, maybe this one the tools that have been provided to the employee, maybe not supporting his skills, maybe the role he or she has been given that depends upon the other department's roles. It is the responsibility of the HR department to look into it. Let us take a look how the psychological contract moves forward and impact the organizations. Set the expectations. HR department has to set the expectation themselves. Those are not part of the employment contract, and then maintain the expectations and then confirm delivery to the expectations. How? I have set in the HR department expectation that we will run the payroll. After running the payroll, we are going to send the headcount report to the head of departments to ensure that these are the employees, these are their position titles, these are their grades, are they correct? And end of the month, I have to deliver it. It is not written in the employment contract. It is a proactive actions of the HR department. And on the other hand, line managers take proactive action to cross-check and provide the feedback. And very important, when you confirm the delivery to expectation, don't change on one side. If you want to make changes to the expectations, bring the second party on board. Otherwise, the relation will distort. If you want to make any changes in the report, first you have to sit with the line manager, explain the way, explain what you're gonna get out of it. So you will establish good relations. So you can set the expectations, maintain the expectation, then confirm the delivery to the expectation. My dear knowledge workers, all this is through the psychological contract. You are enhancing the performance, you are increasing the productivity of the organizations, and you are also developing the employees. Let us take a look. Trust, very important, very important. Trust. Managers, employer could buy the hand of the employees, could buy the hands, but could not buy the heart and mind of the employees. Very important. How the manager, how the leader, how the employer could control the heart and mind of the employees? Through trust. Trust and trust. What is the trust? This trust spectrum. Let us take a look on the trust spectrum. How it is. Blind trust. Trust without any evidence. Employees join the Facebook, IBM. They have the blind trust that people are provided equal opportunities. People are rewarded according to their knowledge, skills and ability they are demonstrating. Blind trust. This is the organization culture. On the other hand, due cautions. Trust with evidence. Some organizations, their culture does not support to the vision, mission and the values. The leaders, the executive teams, could not perform the major roles changing the cultures, then the employees look into it very carefully, and then they trust the organization with evidence. Then the blind paranoia, that is distrust with the evidence. The culture of the organization is so weak. The new employees enter in the organizations. There is a great whining, and the employees are overwhelmed with the stories, and without any evidence, they distrust without evidence. Very important, the organization cultures. Trust make difference between the employee and the employer. Let us take a look of the nature of the trust. What is the nature? The nature of the trust is, you can see, openness in the communication with everyone. Allow everyone to communicate, entertain his or her ideas. Accept the ideas if they are making the difference. Keeping your promise. Very important, the promise. If you make any promise, you have to abide by the promise, because it makes difference. Then you are going to say that meeting your obligation to look out for others' people interest as well as your own. If you want, you should be respected, you should be treated well, you should treat the same way the other peoples. You reward the people based on their performance, you will be rewarded based on the performance. And acting always with the honesty and integrity, and without hiding any agenda. Very important. Work with honesty and integrity. People could believe, and communication should be very effective. The major role of the leader that makes difference, effective communications. How to cascade down, how to trickle down the communications to the lowest employees from top to down. If you have any hidden agenda, sooner or later, your subordinate will know, and they will treat you the same way you are treating others. This is the nature of the trust. Type of psychological contracts, relational contracts that we explained, transactional contracts, those are related to the pay, you pay and the employee will work. Having high performance, you will get it. Frederick Taylor theories. And on the other hand, Mayo theory, stating no, employees want to work. Employees are social animals. Employees are social animals. Performance of the employees increase when they work together, when they collaborate, when they share their social knowledge, when they interact. And that is very important, relational psychological contract, and the organization achieve its goals. Unbalanced psychological contract. One unbalanced psychological contract happens. What it happens? Absence of training and development, not as promised, discrepancy between promise and actual pay. Then you can see the promotion schedule not as promised. Misrepresentation of the nature of the job. You have been hired for these positions. You have been not given this role. This is an unbalanced psychological contract. Then you're gonna see it about the promise regarding the job security not met. You have been given the security of the job. you will do this job, this is your role, this is your job descriptions, these are the challenges you have to achieve it. I'm gonna give you the job security, and I'm gonna give you the constructive feedback, and then there is no constructive feedback, and there is no career progressions. And then, my dear knowledge worker, what is gonna happen? This is the employee now unbalanced. Employers is just sleeping, thinking. Nobody is taking care of the employers. Relations are broken. Employee and employer came in confrontations. This is all because of the unbalanced psychological contract. Very important for the employer. If made any promise, keep it up. Give the challenging job. Respect, respect, and respect. New generations, they accept the challenge, and they are very sensitive for their respects. If there is a balance in the psychological contract, what is going to happen? Employees go on extra miles, work as an ambassador of the organizations. This is the same excellence in the customer service as explained. Team working, flexibility, adaptability, you can see creativity, accepting the stretches objective, exerting discretionary behaviors. In the 21st century, innovations, flexibility, adaptabilities play a vital role. And lastly, employees should work religiously. My dear employees, time will pass. Work religiously. Wasting of time is a big crime. And very important, don't waste your time. Get the maximum out of the time and do your level best. This is the balanced psychological contract. Then what is gonna happen? Employees are very happy. Even they are traveling in the Silicon Valley. They are traveling in the bus. They are traveling in the car, or they are going somewhere. They are thinking about their objectives. They are not contributing only for the organizations. When they are contribute to the organizations, employees will get more opportunities for development. Organization will flourish, prosper. There will be more opportunities for the employees. There will be more prosperity of the country. And you are going to deliver your services across the world. And the people with passion who do it can change the world for the better. And we all need to do it. Psychological contract could make difference. I will highly recommend to the managers, to the leaders, to the employers, focus on the psychological contract. Establish the relations, unwritten relations. Establish the trust. And you will see your turnover will be very low. Employees will be happy. There will be less absence. There will be also productivity will increase. People will cooperate. They will work as a team, and the performance of the organization will also increase. These are the reference. My dear knowledge workers, I will be back very soon with the new lecture. The new lecture will be about the line manager's role, how the line managers can enhance the performance of the organizations working with the HR department. See you next time very soon. Hope this lecture will help you to understand the psychological contract and enhance the performance of the organization. Thank you very much for watching this lecture.